Holy crap, Jord. This video got out there. Lots of comments, and here we are on October 9th with confirmation from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that they did actually take a photo on the 3rd. But due to government shutdown, the image has not been released. Seriously. Is this a cover up or is this legit? I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. So, that we're going to dig into that. But first, before I start, I just want to thank everybody. This has officially been my most successful video, and and it's been because of you. All the people who watched and shared and left all these incredible comments. I mean, honestly, the comments continue to roll in, and I couldn't even include some of the latest ones because we already started production. But I just want to thank everybody. It's awesome. And I also wanted to note, if you do use Apple Podcast or Spotify to get your information, we are on there as well, not just YouTube, so you can get it everywhere. So just wanted to like pass that out, just so you know that we are available on multiple platforms. But back to 3i Atlas, here we are. I'm really impressed with, honestly, the range of comments that we got. I got scientific questions. I got conspiracy theories. I got spiritual interpretations. I got existential warnings about AI, which you're going to love because we all know, your feelings about AI. And one person said that humans are the bed bugs of the universe.
That's messed up. That's messed
I
up.
mean, that's crazy.
I mean, they're probably not wrong, but it's messed up.
But we're the bed bugs of the universe. It's crazy. But
no, we're like roaches.
Today, we're going to go through all of the comments. We're going to address the different scientific questions. We're going to address the skepticism and all of the different theories. But we're going to be respectful, okay? Because, honestly, I'm just looking at myself too, right? We have to be respectful, to people's thoughts and opinions. Because honestly, we don't know what's going on here. And I'm about as clued in as everybody else. This is really strange. So let's do this. Let's jump in. Everyone, welcome to Thriving in Ambiguity, the podcast where we break down the complexities of technology, ideally without losing our minds. I'm your host, Steve Mancini, and this is
Jordan.
Jordan's here.
Or Poppy. I don't even know about that.
I don't know nothing about Poppy.
What, Poppy?
Poppy. Okay.
I need my hat for my job right now.
All right.
Picked it right out of a hat.
Jordan. Or Poppy.
No, but not Poppy. Boppy.
Oh, Boppy.
No, Poppy.
Boppy? No, Poppy? All right, never mind. Anyway, let's dig into the scientific piece of the observations because some of the listeners asked a bunch of details and I want to dig into that.
Yeah.
And starting off, at Connecting Nature commented about the tail being opposite the sun's direction. They want a little bit more information on that. And that's a great observation here about the tail section because here's the thing. Comet tails always point away from the sun. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's the direction of travel. Because this happens because of solar wind and radiation pressure. So the sun is literally blowing the gas and the dust away from the comet. So you have all this heat on one side, so the comet's coming. How do I do to put my hand in the picture? Yeah, so comet's coming this way. So you're going to get this blow off this way because this side's heating up and it's going to go that way. But as the comet, passes the sun, okay, so it's still moving in this direction, the gases actually start blowing off the backside. So in the opposite direction, which is actually kind of interesting.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And the other piece to this is that outgassing, it happens, kind of acts like a thruster. It should push the comet in an opposite direction of the blow off, but that's where it gets weird. The push doesn't make it go faster because it's not necessarily directing directly behind it. Typically, it's coming in at a slight angle. And so we should see it actually nudge sideways, causing the trajectory to deviate from, the path that it's actually on. So think of it like this. It's kind of like if you're driving a car and you fired a thruster out your side window. The car wouldn't speed up, but it should veer to the side, right? So that's kind of what we're expecting to see, but that's not what's actually happening. So we're not really showing any real trajectory deviation, which is one of those odd things we talked about in the last episode. It's realistically it's following a path consistent with gravity alone, and we're not really seeing that impact of outgassing. So that's strange. Now, that could get into something like the weight of the comet. They're estimating to be about 33 billion tons. If it's bigger than that, that could answer some of those questions because the larger it is, the harder it will be to move.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we really want that picture from the Mars reconnaissance because that should give us a high resolution image and they should be able to kind of break down what the nucleus of this thing is and how big it is. They should be able to make some estimates.
Okay.
So, and then in Connecting Nature also asked about 3AI Atlas passing closer to Mars and Jupiter and avoiding Earth. And so this comment made me think a bit too. And so I'll explain it this way. See, the trajectory does bring 3i Atlas close to several of the major planets, like you said, but notably not Earth. In fact, Earth will be on the opposite side of the sun during its closest approach, which is kind of where we're at right now. So, right now, we're in the observation blackout. It's blocked by the sun. So, right now, if you had a telescope and you try to look at the comet, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So, the question is this intentional avoidance? So, if it is some sort of spacecraft, was this designed to avoid us,
Mm-hmm.
go behind the sun where we can't see it, and then make some sort of other approach?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I mean, statistically, it's actually not that unusual that we're seeing this. Most objects passing through the solar system won't come near the Earth just due to orbitary geometry. Listen, space is big, Earth is small, and random trajectories rarely intersect with our exact position. But that's where it gets interesting. The timing is notable. The closest approach happens during our blackout, which we're not going to be able to see. We can't watch from Earth during the most critical period, so that just throws up some coincidences or red flags. But honestly, orbital mechanics don't really care much about the convenience of it. But if someone was like planning a reconnaissance mission and wanted to maximize observation from them to us,
Mm-hmm.
they would be a pretty interesting path for them to take. So I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying the geometry is once again interesting. Okay.
Okay.
So our next comment here. Ian Hesford commented that about 4 days out, the best possible data from Mars orbiting satellites is delayed. And okay, this is the one that I said we should watch for when we talked on the last episode. I said if we don't have data in 4 days, so the third being the optimum day for NASA to take that photo, and so fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, we should have had some data.
Yeah.
Now it's the ninth, still nothing. Someone pointed out that we're now past that closest approach, which, and from my research, everything I looked into did say NASA did indeed take the high res photo. So that should exist somewhere. We still haven't seen it. Now, we have seen, as you'll see on the screen here, we do have a couple low res images from the Mars Perseverance rover. So this larger grade picture with the where you see it kind of like this pill-shaped object. That's it. And the reason it's pill-shaped, I did a lot of photography over my life, and so what happens is that's actually taken over time.
So it's like a panorama.
It's actually moving, and so the light is dragging.
Oh.
So it's elongating it, so it doesn't actually look like that. So, but once again, I mean that's the arm of the rover with the little camera on it.
Is the shape of it supposed to be circular? Is that like the normal shape for a comet?
Well, it should be like I'm assuming a ball of rock, And so you might see a tail,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
the coma coming off, but I don't think it's pill shaped. So, and if you look at up top, that's the European Space Agency's view. So, a higher, much higher resolution photo than the rover, and you can see it. It looks like a circle there because
Mhm.
it's more of a it's an instant shot versus something that had to take over time and it moved. But like I said, here we are on the ninth. No data yet. Now, look, this data processing does take time. There's image calibration. I don't know how they took the photo, if they're combining multiple images. Some would say, well, then it needs to go to some peer review and studied internally. How long does that take? And then, oh, by the way, it's convenient that there's a government shutdown and all of this potentially is on hold. So, I mean, and now we have everybody kind of potentially freaking out. Why don't we have the data? Why don't we have the data?
Yeah.
Especially when that's our best option to actually see a high res photo of what this
Yeah.
actually is. Once again, it's October 9th. No detailed images yet. And as of this recording, I haven't seen anything publicly from NASA. And so we're waiting. I don't know how long the government shutdown is going to last. I mean, we're already into what, week two? Um, so hopefully that gets resolved sooner rather than later. I mean, there's a lot of people that are out of work. That's never a good thing. But whether that's a legit reason or not, I don't know.
Why can't or won't they come out and say maybe I just haven't seen it? Like why won't they just say like, "Hey, we're not releasing anything because the government shut down." Like we can't. Like are they not saying anything?
I didn't see anything official on NASA's website.
I feel like if you don't want people to be suspicious and to trust the government, why wouldn't you say that?
I don't disagree. I mean, especially when there's so many eyes on this right now. But I don't know. It just leaves people to speculate.
Do
And
you think that maybe they are hoping that people kind of like move on from this quickly and don't ask any more questions because of all the other things going on right now?
I mean, look, there's just so much going on right now. I mean, you have a potential peace process happening in the Middle East. I have no idea. I mean, the news is packed with stuff constantly, but I could tell you that if they did see something, they may not be in a rush to drop it on the people right now. I mean, that could create chaos. So they really have to think that out. And so who knows?
I mean, honestly, if they did, I would be more concerned about, well, are you telling us this all of a sudden now because you're trying to distract us from something bigger? So you're just gonna make everybody focus on the fact that maybe this isn't just a comet? That would be even more suspicious. Both scenarios are suspicious. Both scenarios are weird. But I think if you're like, yeah, that's not a comet, that's a spaceship, people would just forget about every other issue we have going on, and then nobody pays attention and people forget and nothing gets solved.
Well, this is the perfect segue into healthy
Oh,
skepticism
let's go.
because, like one of our readers said, if this thing is artificial,
Mm-hmm.
I doubt we'll ever hear about it.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If this is something,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to say anything until December when this thing reappears and people are able to spot it again and say, yo, this thing is not where it's supposed to be
Yeah.
or whatever. And look, I mean, I've worked in IT and government and cybersecurity for most of my career. I've seen enough to know that information control is real. Not everything gets disclosed immediately. Timing does matter. Framing matters. Lawyers matter. There's a lot that can go into it. So even sometimes when people want to talk, they're not permitted to. But when it comes to something as significant as potential non-human technology in our solar system, yeah, I could see why there'd be some hesitation to go public before understanding what we're actually dealing with and what needs to happen. But this is important. The object was discovered by the public by a survey telescope in Chile, the Atlas system. So universities worldwide are tracking this, and yeah, astronomers with backyard telescopes can
Got it.
see it.
Yeah.
So you can't just disappear something that thousands of independent observers are watching.
Oh, they will try their best.
They will try their
I
best.
watched a video the other day. Apparently, they don't. Not every president is briefed on what goes on in like with all this like alien
With the
stuff.
alien stuff.
Yeah, like what goes on at Area 51 and all that stuff. That could be a little bit inaccurate, but they definitely said not every president gets like information on that.
Well, it's almost like the CIA is this separate agency that's kind of independent, and I think they may know all of the secrets, and even the president is on a need to know basis. So once again, that's speculation. I mean,
I
I'm
don't know.
not that
I
cool.
didn't make that up. Somebody sent out in the video.
But anyway, the idea that they could be hiding something is completely possible, but they've got a ton of eyes on it. And so, we'll keep our eyes on it as well and see what happens. But it's interesting. Anyway, moving on. The Von Braun Warning. One of our readers, Beatles fan 1975, commented and said, I hope this isn't a fake alien invasion that Von Braun warned us about. Now, this one really hit from multiple people. This wasn't just one person. A couple people referenced this. And
Are we gonna get a debrief on who Von Braun
oh,
is?
you don't know?
No.
All right, yes, I can give you a little background. So,
Thank you.
he was actually a rocket scientist from Nazi Germany.
Okay.
He became a NASA pioneer, and he allegedly warned his spokesperson, Carol Rosen, about a staged sequence of threats that would be used to justify the weaponization of space. And he said it would start with terrorism, and we've seen that. Rogue nations, that's kind of obvious. Then he said asteroids, and
Why am I having deja vu right now?
I don't know, but
That's crazy.
but I got to laugh when I was looking up asteroids because we just actually went through this, what, a couple years ago when we launched a missile at an asteroid and deflected it as a practice. Let's make sure we could do it.
Yeah.
So, not wrong there. And then finally, he says there'll be a fake alien invasion, and that will lead to us weaponizing space. So,
How do you fake an alien invasion if the entire country, let alone world, is not being attacked?
I don't know. And in full transparency, I don't actually know that Von Braun said this. This is from one source in one person's testimony. There's no recording, there's no documentation beyond her account. And he died in 1977. So, unless we're going to pull out a Ouija board, which would be wild,
Don't
do
do
that
it.
on an episode.
I'm not doing that again. I did that one time. I'm not doing it again.
Well,
You want to see me freak out?
that's
Yeah.
probably our only way to contact him.
No
But
way.
I do know that governments throughout history have used perceived threats to justify budgets, policies, and military buildups. So that's not necessarily conspiracy theory. That's documented.
Yeah.
You have the Gulf of Tonkin. That's actually from the Vietnam War. Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We went to war over that. They turned out to be false. We have the Cold War and the arms race between us and the Soviet Union. There's threats of in inflation, from political tools. It's always been something that people use to their advantage. But here's my position. I'm really interested in what the data says and what we see in observation, and then ultimately what the math tells us. So evidence first, narrative second, and then maybe motivation third. And I'm not dismissing the possibility of deception, but I'm also not assuming it without evidence. So let's see what December brings. But I think the warning.
Watch them not say anything.
But I think the Von Braun warning is a stretch. Only and here's why. Only because if they wanted to pretend like and they needed a UFO story, they don't need Three Eye Atlas. There's constantly different UFO phenomena that's happened. I mean, we just had the one where we had a drone fire at that object and it appeared to bounce off. And then I heard, they had some kind of military statement that it may have been actually a balloon.
We already have Area 51 for a fact. They could just say that an alien ran away and It had an invisible cloak on it.
That's what I'm saying.
That I believe that. No, I wouldn't believe it. But I feel like if you wanted to make people panic about an alien invasion, tell them something escaped out of Area 51 before you try to say something like they're all coming for us.
Well, there's enough weird things going on with space and unidentified objects for them. If they wanted to kind of create a narrative, they could. They don't need an asteroid or a comet or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. What the heck?
What the hell?
Okay. So next one. This one is also from Beatles fan 1975, and he said, or I'm assuming it's a he. Amora Amora was just a probe, and now aliens are coming with tech and the meaning of life. And man, do I love this. I know you're reading it.
Yes.
So go ahead and you can read that. But basically, what he's kind of getting at is if aliens showed up tomorrow with faster than light travel, clean energy, cure for diseases, and the answers to our biggest questions, that would be awesome. I would sign
Yeah.
up for that.
But realistically, what do you think would happen? Because I have an answer.
Oh, let's play a little devil's advocate. Let's go. Let me hear your answer. What do you think would happen?
I think realistically, we'd probably capture them,
Or attempt
kill
to?
them, or attempt to. Probably, if we did kill them, probably poke around their bodies. Because why in the world would the people in this country who lead this country hear them out? Why would that happen? I feel like the first thing that they would do is just wreak havoc.
It's pretty funny because one of the future comments we're going to talk about kind of pings on that. So,
Yeah, why would they let's say that they spoke English and they landed on this earth and did say all that stuff. In no way do I see our government hearing the aliens out. They're capturing them. They're capturing them, they're killing them, and they're doing something. I don't care what they have to say. They don't want anybody to know.
all very possible.
And they don't want people to know so they can keep making money. Wait, who
Well,
said that? That was a ghost.
it's definitely interesting. I mean, it'd be pretty awesome if these comets or are some sort of alien probe and they are going to bring some sort of amazingness to us. It's unlikely, if I'm honest. I don't know. There's way different. Like Amora Mora, the one before that. This one's twice the side travel and at twice the speed. I mean, some of the math doesn't quite add up if they were going to come from the same place. So I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting thought. So we entertain it. Then we have this one. Now we're getting into the heavier stuff because some of you guys really went deep. Um, Now I don't.
I'm gonna let you say that.
Arminus Chatty 2287, and I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. Says we're in danger. Our technology has outpaced our evolution. AI will go horribly wrong. This might be the most thought-provoking comment that I received. The argument here, let's set the stage. Humanity's technology has outpaced our wisdom. We're driven by greed, pride, and warfare. Traits useful in resource scarce environments, but dangerous in post scarcity worlds. And now we're developing artificial superintelligence with all of our flaws baked into it. This is basically the dark forest hypothesis meets AI existential risk theory.
Yes.
Honestly, it's not that crazy of a thought. And if we were an advanced civilization watching a planet that just split the atom, mapped its own genome, created narrow AI systems, and started working towards artificial general intelligence, all while still engaging in tribal warfare like what we see in Ukraine and the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I would actually probably be paying pretty close attention, right?
Yeah.
So the gap between intelligent enough to build AI and wise enough to actually control it is where civilizations might actually destroy themselves or become a threat to alien species out there.
Mhm.
So I could see them watching pretty closely. Now, whether that'll lead them to visit and intercede, I don't know. If you're a Star Trek fan, there's a thing called the Prime Directive, and they're not supposed to do that. Not supposed to interfere.
Hmm.
But that's made up. So
I don't know. Apparently, people say that if aliens are out there, that they might be just watching us and studying us and waiting until we all kill each other to come down and fix us.
well, hopefully they're like a little bit cooler about it and they stop us before they do that and say, "Yo, there's a better way."
Uh huh.
I mean, you would hope, but
It's like watching a hamster in a cage.
running on the wheel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, our technology, our behavior, our readiness for contact, are they running a threat assessment? I don't know. But I do know this. I mean, to your point, like, we're not really ready. If they did show up, we would likely attack them. With, I mean,
But the thing is, it's like it's not even like it's the people that would attack them. It's like it's the government and the military and all those secret agencies and stuff.
but we can't even cooperate on climate change, on, nuclear arms, or even the global pandemic, for Christ's
Mhm.
sake. And so how would we handle like non-human
They
intelligence?
wouldn't.
So I don't know. I can only imagine what our behavior looks like, to an outside observer. And that's what do you think? Right? Terrible, right?
If they think, if they have any sort of mindset like humans have, where they're not looking at us like a hamster in a cage and being like, what is that? They're probably like, what is wrong with you people?
I know. I mean, the only thing that I would say is maybe their history was the same. It's just they're older, and so they went through it, and they're like, okay.
Maybe.
But I mean, I'm not proud of. I would say humans. We could do better. I mean, that's the reality. Like, I'm not perfect, but I try to love all things. I try to love all people. I try to give people respect. I try to value people's opinions and views and try to see things through their eyes
Mm-hmm.
because their experiences are different than mine. And to just assume everybody is like you and their experiences, it's not reality. So you need to separate yourself from your worldview and think differently. And honestly, it's so infrequent. And not to say that it's not out there. And look, there's a lot of great people out there. But if I'm honest, on the whole, we could do better.
Have we learned nothing about the golden rule that they taught us in kindergarten?
What's that?
To treat people the way you want to be treated.
Simple.
And that telling the truth is, wait, honesty's the best policy?
Mm-hmm.
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 Where has lying ever got anybody?
It's a great question. But we're coming down to the end, but we definitely have one more. And so we're getting into territory that I honestly wasn't expecting, but I'm going to get engaged with it respectfully, just like I said. I mean, I want to be able to respect people's questions, people's thoughts, people's perspectives, that might be different than mine. And so this one from SMS 5971, they said that orbs on a digital plane surrounding regions of historical deaths. So this really got me thinking, like, whoa, where are we going with that? And
What is, I'm going to sound like a stupid person. What
mhm.
is a digital plane?
So I'm assuming they mean, for instance, if you're going to take a picture,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as you're developing, you see
Oh,
that orb
okay.
in it. So
Because
that
I
that
read
would be
that
the
and
digital
immediately
plane.
thought airplane. And then I was like, well, why would, how, how are you seeing orbs in an airplane? But then I realized that that just didn't make any
So think
sense.
ghost hunters,
Yeah.
right? You've watched that, and they're
Mhm.
walking around with their video cameras or taking still photos, and you see
Yeah.
the orbs following
Well,
people.
now it makes sense.
So the idea that orbs are visible on digital cameras and they peer around historical deaths and trauma, that they grow brighter and follow people as if they're conscious and their bodiless energies recognizing our souls. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that to generate that type of comment, but it was interesting. And I'm not going to pretend that I have answers to orbs in consciousness or whether souls exist in a plasmic energy.
Mhm.
that can be photographed. But I will say this: humans they've been looking at the sky and seeing meaning for thousands of years. We see patterns, and we're pattern-seeking creatures. It's literally how we survived as a species. We see faces and objects in clouds. We found in constellations random star patterns, and we often look for meaning in chaos because it helps us bring a sense to who we are and where we fit into this universe. So while 3AI Atlas is a weird comet, and maybe there's deeper meaning that science hasn't figured out yet, it does allow us to think differently, and it allows us to really use our minds and ask questions about consciousness and maybe souls or divine intervention. But I do know that the universe is stranger than we currently understand. There's still so much we don't know. And I'm working, actually, here's a little piece of tidbit for the audience, and a little bit about this. I am working deeply on research around consciousness. So we are going to dig in a little deeper here. I wasn't planning on going orbs, but I am planning on going into near-death experiences and
Reincarnated as a squirrel.
reincarnation, potentially as squirrels. So stay tuned for that. That should really be interesting.
Wait, I have questions about this comment.
Okay.
Why would it be that orbs would appear more frequently around historical events or important people from history rather than the normal people? Why don't, like, why would it be that way?
The only thing that I could think of would be, let's say it's a place like a historic battlefield where a lot of souls died.
Mm.
In that case, there may be additional paranormal activity going on within that area versus a normal area where not a whole lot is going on.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I could relate it
Well,
to.
yeah, like something like that makes sense, but
Well, this gets
I don't know.
deeper if you want to continue on. I mean, this is not the only question that SMS 5971 had asked. It's a little bit long. They also commented about cosmic energy of collective consciousness, God possibility, the soul's origin. Now, this is actually the most poetic comment that I received, and I want to honor it. So the idea is that it's not an alien probe, but something far bigger, a manifestation of our collective consciousness,
Okay.
a place of the Creator showing itself, an angel on a mission, the origin of our souls actually returning home. And I'm not going to tell this person that they're wrong. I have no idea. If the universe can produce black holes that bend space time, quantum entanglement that contacts particles across light years, and dark energy that we still don't understand what the hell it does, who am I to say what's possible? Is this a natural phenomenon? Is it artificial? Is it something, is it God? I don't know. Science gives us a lot of tools to measure and understand, but it doesn't give us full meaning. That's something we each have to find within ourselves. So this person found, a very interesting way of what, and how they're feeling.
Mhm.
So I think all of these perspectives are important, and I think it's really important that we keep asking deep questions and really thinking about where we go from here. Here we are. 3i Atlas, like we talked about, is on its closest approach to Mars. Hopefully, we're going to get that that photograph soon. We're now several days past when it was anticipated, and we're waiting to see what happens. Do we actually get the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter image? How detailed will it be? When? Does NASA release the data quickly? Will it be transparent? Will the object's behavior match the predictions? Anything weird happen? And the observation blackout from Earth continues through November, and we won't see it again till December. So, like I said, there's a whole lot of time for us to speculate on what the heck is going on here.
I have a proposition. Why do I? Well, okay, so why are the pictures that we did have of it look the way that they look when we have things like iPhones that take pictures so clearly? Why why don't we have clear pictures of that? I want to see a clear picture of space from an iPhone.
Well, here's the problem. The sensor on the iPhone is very small. Okay. And if you just go outside and you try to take a picture of the moon, okay, you'll notice you don't get the same detail as what you see with your
I know,
eyeballs.
but can they take an iPhone up to space and take a picture out of a peephole?
All right. Well, that's kind of what. So
Make a big
that
iPhone.
orbiter has iPhone, hopefully, way better than iPhone like capabilities.
Then why does it look like
We haven't gotten that picture yet. We got something from the Mars rover that's this robot that's walking around
that?
Mars.
Why doesn't it have an iPhone camera on it?
Well,
Why does it got grainy rice camera? What are we doing?
all right. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. I don't know if the audience needs to get into that.
It was just a question.
And I'm glad because that's what we're here for, people's questions. So,
And mine.
and yours as well. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody who commented, from the scientists to the skeptics to the person who thinks God is collecting souls. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. That's what Thriving in Ambiguity is all about. So if you have more questions, keep posting, and please share this out, view us on other platforms, and if some news comes out, I'll be sure to create a new episode. Otherwise, we may have to wait till December. But keep your eye out to Thriving in Ambiguity. We're always putting out interesting content, trying to ask the tough questions and make sense of technology and what's going on in the world.
Yeah, make sure you check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because if you're ever on a plane and you don't have Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the podcast.
There you go. All right. Till next time, Jord, we're out.
We're out like a comet. Pew!